Hey everybody, welcome to Meddkit's Provider Spotlight, where we interview the most amazing private practices from all over the United States. Every week is someone new, a new perspective, a new specialty, and we have some awesome special guests with you today. I'm really excited to sit down with Dr. Vaught and Dr. Donna of Beyond Health and Wellness and Vaught Chiropractic. Welcome, you two. I'm very excited.
Thank you.
Morning or afternoon now.
Yeah, afternoon now. I am very excited to sit down with you both and chat a little bit about your practice. But I think, what everyone kind of enjoys and what I try to do, in the very beginning is what got you here? Like, what is the origin story? What had inspired you to, Dr. Vaught, open your own practice? Dr. Donna, like, what inspired you to get into this field? So would love to hear from you both. Your story.
Okay. So I got started, my interest for chiropractic peaked when I was actually a junior in high school.
Wow.
Football was my life basically, and I was injured my junior year in high school. And the orthopedist said I was out for the season. And my father was a huge fan of chiropractic. He was always going to the chiropractor, and he brought me to the chiropractor. And then, needless to say, the next week I was playing football, so I wasn't out for the season. So that piqued my curiosity right away. I want to do this, and that's how I got into chiropractic actually. And like many other body practitioners and stuff, it's because of their own experience. Being a chiropractor, I got board certified, and I was a chiropractic certified sports physician. I got board certified in rehabilitation, and everything was going along well until it wasn't. So there's two stories that I have. The second one, I got involved in functional medicine because I was actually sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was overweight. I was over 300 pounds. I had two autoimmune conditions, and I had to figure out, all right, why do I have these diseases? That led me to functional medicine. And then through functional medicine, I remitted both of my autoimmune disease, which was Hashimoto's and vitiligo. And that one really pointed my direction on where I wanted to go. I wanted to help my patients because I was seeing chiropractic patients, but yet with the toxic overload in our world nowadays, they weren't getting better. I mean, I was treating them; they were always coming back, and I was always having to treat them. Well, they were systemically inflamed. So now, when I tied functional medicine together with chiropractic, we got some phenomenal results. And on our website, there's lots of testimonials and stuff too, that people that we have helped. That's how I got. That's my why to what I'm doing now and how I got into it. And I can let Donna tell you hers.
Thank you. My background is in Western medicine. Actually, I've worked in hospitals and ERs for many years. Also education, former medical director of a college and I had the privilege of teaching at Rush University. So I kind of got a great perspective on how things roll from both sides. However, one of my big takeaways was patients that would be coming through our ERs with they'd come in basically at death's door. The word emergency, it would be an emergency before they'd show up. And we'd always ask them, did you have symptoms? I mean, this is a pretty advanced state of whatever they presented with. And they were always like, yeah, but I don't have insurance.
Mm.
So just the fear of that exorbitant cost involved in whatever. And these are hardworking people that sometimes have their own business, or perhaps they work for a business that can't
Yeah.
provide insurance for their employees. The cost of medical care is exorbitant. So I just wasn't cool with that. I said, one day, if I ever have my own practice, we're going to address that. So fast forward, that's what we're doing. So my practice addresses that hardworking demographic that does not have insurance. And it's not a matter of just saving like $5 or $10. It's a matter of a $3,000 echo we can do for $365. And that includes a
Wow.
cardiologist reading. We have physicians that see them for cash prices as well. Lab testing, thermograms, I mean, you name it. The goal is to get quality to all of these patients so that no one ever has to be in that story of, well, this is what happened. So either they end up in debt or it doesn't have a good ending.
Yeah, I'm both amazing stories and how you both got here and what you're doing today. But I think the accessibility factor, and just the knowledge too. I love that you're bringing these opportunities to your community, for people to get healthy, for people to have this holistic look on their body and say, okay, I'm gonna, functional medicine meets chiropractic, but then have all these fabulous testings and programs and ability for people to see their healthcare through and not be burdened by debt and having people explain things to them. It's things that you think that should be so simple and so easy is so hard in our modern economy. So kudos to you both, for providing that. That's huge. Out of, some of what you had said today, what do you think, and Dr. Vaught, you've talked about this and you talked about, all the, clients and patients that you have helped. What do you think people are really, truly struggling with today? What are like maybe the big, gangbusters of all problems that you find people are commonly dealing with right now?
Well, a toxic overload for sure. And
Mhm.
that's what causes all our systems to break down, basically. So become systemically inflamed. We see a lot of autoimmune patients. Just our bodies can't deal with all the overload of toxins that we're exposed to every day, whether it's through the EMFs, stuff like that. We're always on computers. We're never outside anymore. We're never grounded to the earth anymore. I mean, it's not a good situation. So we need accountability. We need the patients to take accountability and do some of the homework that we tell them to do, obviously, and most of it will fall on the patient, and we can guide them and we can tell them what's going on, but ultimately they have to actually take an active role and actually heal themselves.
Yep, for sure. Dr. Donna, how about you? What are you often seeing as well?
I think patients struggle with getting to the root of what's going on, and they'll have a tendency, probably more the fear of the unknown. They have a tendency to allow something to get to an advanced state before they seek help. And we're not anti-Western medicine. There's a place for Western medicine for sure. Somebody comes into the ER in full arrest, you're going to push some chemicals, but the goal is to back away from that situation once the emergency is over. And something that I'm super proud and privileged to work with Dr. Vaught on is getting to the quote unquote root cause of what's causing something. He's very big with gut health. I think Hippocrates once said the gut is the second brain. I kind of disagree with that this day and age. I think our gut is our first brain. Everything that we're exposed to, as he mentioned before, environmentally, even genetically, what are our bodies going through? What are they struggling with? But the goal here is, and we do it every day, and it's such a privilege to be here, is to see patients walk out healthier and happier and worry free, because the fear's gone now. We've gotten to the bottom of, or the root cause, if you will, of what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, it does start with the gut and then help the body heal itself.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, I love, your both of your approach on, you know, how you're figuring out, and getting to that root cause of, your patients that are coming in. And it's not just looking at the symptoms, right? I think maybe we're caught up in, what's bothering me, how do I feel? But okay, let's drill down and let's actually figure out the why, behind all of that. So I think that's really incredible. Is there anything else that you would say about your approach that is really different in the office versus maybe some other folks that are out there?
We offer a lot of educational opportunities, and we're all on the same journey. When people meet Dr. Vaught and they realize, okay, he went through this before, and this is how he helped his body heal. Or we all have things that we're dealing with or struggling with. we offer a lot of educational opportunities, seminars and workshops and things like that. So it kind of takes the fear out of things, and knowledge is power. Once you have the knowledge of this or that, it's not so scary, and you realize the human body is miraculous and it'll heal if you give it the right things.
I love that. Something that you touched on that I'd love to hear from you both on, Dr. Vaught and Dr. Donna, is power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. We want to know all the things and, how to make a decision. Where do I go with my health care? I've read things online, which kind of leads me into the segment of misconceptions. I think that the internet is a very powerful tool. And, a lot of people are looking things up. They're looking up their symptoms. They're looking up different treatments. They're reading different articles. And as you know, you can't always believe everything that you read online or what people tell you. But I would love to hear from you both. What are some things that you have maybe heard in, your time as practicing and you're like, man, that is so wrong. That is so off base. Where'd you hear that from? Where'd you read that? Maybe other misconceptions about what you do, what maybe people think what chiropractic is or what functional medicine is. What are those common things that you might hear that you would just love to debunk today?
Oh, there's a whole host of things,
Oh, I know.
but it doesn't have to be. There's not one thing that you need to do that's going to cure everything. It's more of getting back to as natural as possible. If we could essentially be outdoors, if we could switch to 95% of the time we're indoors, if we could switch that to 95% of the time being outdoors, that in itself could go a long way to healing a person. What we talk about too is how important God's light is actually. We need to see it. We need to see it when it rises. We need to see it when it sets. Most people can count on one hand how many times they've seen a sunrise. Maybe a few more have seen a sunset, but sunrises are one of the most important things that we need to witness for our physiology, actually. And nobody's doing that. So what I try to install in my patients is, hey, I want you out there every single morning. And if the sun's not there, look where the sun should be coming up. And you'll still get 30% of the information that's going to be downloaded from our sun, basically. So most physicians aren't even talking about our sun. They want you to slather chemicals on your skin to protect you from the sun. Well, the sun is not going to hurt us, but proper exposure is what we need, actually.
Yeah.
It can even help starting to heal the gut if you get the proper sun exposure.
That's
And
interesting.
food, we want to come back close as God made it is what you want. You don't want to be getting any kind of processed foods and stuff like that. So we try to instill not so much supplementation, but we try to get it from our food, and we give you the food sources where you can get your supplementation from. So that's what we try to do here.
I love it. How about you, Dr. Donna? What misconceptions can you debunk for us today?
From my perspective, what I hear the most is people feel like they can't get well if they don't have medical insurance. And there's nothing further from the truth. There's so much that even Dr. Vaught just alluded to that you can do that costs nothing. But once again, we go back to knowledge is power. If you are aware of your genetic predisposition, or even just some very basic, a $50 lab panel that we charge, that will give us a heads up on what's going on. And again, more knowledge. That leads us to, okay, we can do this, change that, fix this before it becomes an even bigger issue.
I love that. And I love the information that you have brought forth today, both of you. I mean, I think it is so important for people to have access. And that's exactly why we do these interviews is because people should have access to really great information from really great, amazing professionals, doctors, nurses, and that's what makes, our community healthy and getting the right things out there. So I love everything that you have brought here today and the nature of rounding out our amazing conversation. If you both can give some pro tips, maybe of what you might tell a new client or patient, or what anyone that you would like to voice out into the world, if there's like one or two things that you could do every day to propel your health forward, what might that thing be?
Of course, mine's a sunshine, actually. If you can get sunshine, you're going to be in a much better place, and preferably sunrises.
I love that. Really good. How about you, Dr. Donna?
Yeah, again, just the basics of nature, but to be in touch with your body and don't ignore symptoms because it doesn't have to be scary. The typical scenario is somebody might think if I have even one test to tell me what's going on, that's a mortgage payment for me. Or they're busy working and trying to take care of a family, and they've seen how medical care can just literally break you.
Yeah.
I've seen situations where people had to file bankruptcy when it comes to medical situations. The other misconception is that they'll be on medications forever and they're afraid of the side effects, and that's not always the case. The goal is to get to the root of what's going on with patients and then to help them heal naturally. There's so many good things out there.
I love it. I really love your both. Thank you for your advice, for your knowledge. I think, one, talking about getting to that root cause, but then going back to the root. We're flooded with, our environment with, terrible food and,
Absolutely.
yeah, the marketing, everything is just like bad, bad, bad. And I love that. I think your theme really of today is just like going back to the root, figuring out the root cause and then going back as to the way we needed to be as humans, is how God made it and how, going and looking at and waking up to, the sunrise versus the sunset, getting in those, those nutrients, healing your gut, all these really basic things that if you do them and do them well, you're better off for it. So, thank you both for your time today. This has been fantastic. One last thing before we lead off today, if you could tell everyone how they can reach out to you guys, how they can touch base with your practice if they have questions, where would they go to be able to do that?
So we have a website, beyondhealthandwellness.net, actually. That'll get us in touch with all the practitioners that weren't able to be here. They're also on there as well. So yeah. And just to let everyone know that as human beings, we're self-regulating actually. So our blood pressure will go up for a reason. It doesn't go up because we're missing as far as a medicine or something like that. Same with cholesterol. Everything goes up for a reason. Our body is trying to keep us alive. So cholesterol is our best anti-inflammatory. If it's going up, that person's inflamed and the body's trying to correct it. Well, same thing with blood pressure. If our blood pressure goes up, we're not pushing enough oxygen or nutrients to an area, so our pressure has to go up. Or the person's systemically inflamed and swollen. That's going to clamp down on their vasculature, and it's going to keep the blood pressure going up. So those are things that you want to be aware of, and medication only addresses the symptom. It's not addressing what's causing that problem. So what we try to do is, again, get to the root cause of the problem, and then the body will self-regulate and take care of itself.
Fantastic. I really appreciate all that advice. I'm sure the people listening just even break it down, the way that you have both presented, your ideas, your thoughts about health in general are, when you think about it and you take it in, you're like, wow, that is so simple. Like if we just went and did that, or if we knew
Sure.
that healthcare could also be accessible too at the same time and, working with great folks like you guys, wow, like what people wouldn't feel like maybe they had to wait and they shouldn't. Something that is like starts out like this doesn't have to be like this in the end. So I so appreciate you both. Thank you so much for being here. And we hope to have you on again very soon.
Oh, thank you,
Thank you
Rachel.
so much.
Thank you.